Hi, Rachel. So this is David again. I'm just giving you a little bit more feedback on your paper. I want to let you know that I thought that the improvements that you made were good. I know that it could use a little bit more work on that, on the focus part as well. So for what purpose am I writing? To what audience am I writing? And now we're going to go into the second stage of this pyramid, which is content. So what content should I include or leave out to accomplish my purpose for my audience in my context? So think about Brother Ostad as this, he has a doctorate in humanities, obviously fine arts, and he knows so much information on this subject and on art in general. So think about this, you're writing to him. Think about what types of arguments that you would want to include in this paper that he would consider valid, and try to weed out the rest that he will not consider valid. Take those out and keep the ones that he will consider a valid arguing point and evidence to back up your point that you're trying to make. So I thought that you did a really good job. I do want to show you a little bit more into this, just a little bit more of an explanation. This is your thesis statement, correct? This portion talking about Aristotle and Tolstoy and Greenberg's definition. I noticed at the bottom in the concluding paragraph, you also put your definition of art. I would suggest that you put your definition as an introductory area leading into your thesis statement. And a concluding paragraph should never include any new information. So I wrote a little paragraph there that should be helpful to you. It's basically a repetition of your argument. You go over a brief argument and then you restate your thesis statement and why those arguments are valid with your thesis statement. And you actually do that throughout your whole paper. Everything should be focused towards this thesis statement that I have highlighted right here. So you have this first paragraph, or this first sentence, which is awesome because it focuses in on one point of your thesis statement. Now, every arguing point throughout the rest of this paragraph should be focused towards either backing up this main point of the paragraph that you're trying to make at the beginning, as well as the thesis statement that you've written. So you can say, you know, like Michelangelo, Pollock, and Picasso did not imitate nature, yet they're considered great artists. What this demonstrates is that Aristotle's view is too limited, and other views are more extensive, you know. And so this is just an example of what you can do. And so that's what I invite you to do, is go throughout this paper and look for, number one, the things that Brother Ostad would consider important arguing points and important evidences, and include those and try to weed out the rest that aren't. As well as every single point that you make within the paragraph, every arguing point should always point back to your thesis statement and describing why that furthers your argument. So you're making these different points right here, like Pollock goes into painting what some would call paint splatters, which might be considered imitating art if he was painting someone's knees in paint, but he wasn't. So then how does that relate to the overall argument? So you have that included in there. Now let the reader know why you put that in there. So the reason I say this is because Pollock is considered such a great artist, and if he did not imitate nature, then that means that Aristotle's view is a little bit off base. So something like that. You'll hear this from me throughout the semester. I consider that the deepest why, which is you describe to your audience why that is the case in the most, I guess, in the simplest and the, I guess, best way possible. So you describe to them why that's the case. All right, well, there are a few other comments, but they're not as important. I hope that you can get this and make some changes to it. I think that you did a great job, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll see you at class.